Hello, my name is Jamie Soja, and I'm a photographer here in San Luis Obispo. Very happy to give some lessons on how to take better cell phone photos for the County of San Luis Obispo Public Libraries. For this third lesson, we'll continue talking about composition, including food photography composition, as well as editing some of the photos from the last lesson. In the last lesson, I went over how to make some good compositions at Eagle Rock and Morro Bay. And I want to go over the post-processing a bit using the Lightroom app we discussed in Chapter 1. On the right side, click on the sun icon. I'm going to adjust the contrast to enhance the dark and light spots. I'm also going to decrease the number on the blacks to make the blacks darker. Next, I'm going to raise the exposure to make it a little bit brighter. Next, click on the thermometer icon on the right side just below the sun. Then I adjust the color temperature to make it warmer, and then the saturation to increase the intensity of all the colors. Next, click on the icon on the right side that's a square with a circle in the middle and adjust the clarity, which adjusts the contrast and makes the image have a sharper look. You can do this for each one of your images or copy the settings and paste them onto your other images. Click on the circle with the 3 dots in the top. Then select every adjustment you've made and that you want to copy and press the check mark in the top right. Next, click on the crop icon you can see on the right side highlighted. In this image, we can align to the vertical line in the center on the sign by using your finger to rotate the image. When you start rotating, you'll see the vertical line show up, which will help you to align it. In general, an image that does not appear askew is more pleasing to look at. Press the check mark in the bottom right-hand corner when you're done. To save or export, click on the box with the arrow coming off the top in the top right. From here, you can export to camera roll or share to social media. I'm starting this edit out by cropping the image. When you crop an image, it reduces the size, so it may reduce the quality of the image. Click on the 3 dots in the top right, and since we copied the settings from the other edit, we're going to take those settings and paste them onto this photo, and it looks pretty good. I'm also pasting the settings for this one, and it looks pretty good, but could use some further edits. I'm going to start by adjusting the exposure to make it a little bit brighter. Now we're going to create a mask, which designates only a certain area to be edited. Scroll up to the top on the right side and select the circle with the dotted lines. Then select the brush, which you can adjust to feather it, etc., and paint the area that you want to make the adjustments to. And then on the right side, clicking the sun, I adjust the exposure to bring out the blue in the sky. Next, I click on the temperature icon on the right and select saturation to increase the vibrancy of the colors. Again, here we're going to paste the settings from the previous edit and then make further adjustments. For this one, I increased the exposure and made the blacks darker. This one still needs adjustments after pasting the settings. I increased the exposure quite a lot, and then decreased the highlights, which only affects the brightest areas. And then bring the shadows up to lighten up the dark areas a little bit, and then increase the blacks to balance that out. For the last image, we're going to start off by cropping it, and then pasting the settings from the previous edit, and making a few further adjustments, including decreasing the black levels by raising the number. Clicking on the sun icon on the right side, I'm going to decrease the warmness, increasing the coolness by sliding the temperature level over to the left. The image looks a bit green to me, so I'm going to increase the tint a little bit to make it a little redder. Now we're going to look at some strategies for taking some good food photos. I have this beautiful globe artichoke from the Central Coast. I have the light behind the camera, but it looks very flat because the light's shining directly on it, not from the side, which is ideal. Since I have an off-camera light, I'm going to move the light, not the subject. If you're using natural light, you'll move the subject. As you can see, just changing the angle of the light gives it a sense of depth with the interplay of shadows and highlights. On the right side are the shadows, and on the left side are the highlights. The shadows are a little bit dark. Although I could change this in post-processing, it's always better to do it during the shoot. I covered some cardboard with white paper, and you can use it as a reflector. You can see when I put it on the right side, it fills in those shadows a bit, but still keeping the left side brighter and the right side a little darker. Play around with the board a bit to see how different positions make the light land on the subject in a different way. In this before and after shot, you can really see the difference that changing the angle of the light makes. Let's look at some composition ideas for good food photography. You usually want the central ingredients of the main dish to draw your eye. Food often looks best from a very low angle, and that is how it is photographed the most, with towering drinks and slices of cake that look huge, for example. You would never typically view the food like that naturally, and it makes it look intriguing. Top down, or 90 degrees, or 45 degrees, which is a natural angle of viewing food, are the 3 most common ways to photograph food. There are many different aspects of food that make a great subject for photography, including bakers, farmers, fishermen, and purveyors of food. Perhaps you want to capture food in an abstract way, as I did with these macro photos of different vegetables that I saw at the grocery store. Many cell phones have the ability to take photos very close to the subject. All the photos used in this video series were taken by me, Jamie Soja. Thank you.